The thug style to me is like some, guy walking down the street with his pants around his ankles with, a gun in his belt or something like that.
I think it's stupid that people have to wear such big clothes when they don't have to, because what is the point of wearing oversized clothes? Your shorts or your pants don't need to be down to your freaking knees in order to impress somebody, or dress like that in any case. So it's pretty stupid.
Oh, some of the labels that you can get are like, he's a wigger, he's just a thug wannabe, like that guy's not a gangster, he's not a thug, he's a wigger, you know what I mean? Because he can't, the stuff that he looks like he's trying to prove, he can't prove himself.
I think of white people who are trying to be ghetto, but they're not.
Kind of fake, kind of pretending to be something else to try and fit in kind of thing.
Usually I call them wiggers because they're trying to be black. I'm not racist, but they're trying to be black when they're not, and it's not their culture and it doesn't really fit their characteristics.
I don't know, like people think that they have such a hard life, so they have to like portray it by the way they dress, and it's not the case at all, because some people can dress perfectly fine and have the hardest life, and like they don't need to express it through their clothes.
And the problem for kids that do this stuff is that you hop on the GO train going to Toronto looking like you're one of the boys, and you're not. You may find yourself being confronted by someone who actually is, that thinks you are too. We had a kid here in Oakville who was kind of a gangster kind of guy, and he ended up eventually migrating to Toronto, and I would assume still living that lifestyle, dress code, way of talking, walking, all that kind of stuff. He ended up getting killed in the last year or so, shot to death.
I think you got to be careful with any any way you dress or any way you pretend to be. I think you got to be careful with stereotypes and getting caught up in the wrong kind of stuff.
Parents really aren't aware of what their kids are doing, or don't understand when they see signs of things that might cause them concern, able to recognize those things. Unexplained money, unexplained property they're bringing home. My
family, they obviously know that I do stuff that isn't proper, you know what I mean? Some of the stuff I do is like, I hook people up. I'm the, I can be the middleman, I can be the, I can be the front man. It doesn't really matter to me, you know what I mean? If I bring the gangsters up here, with me, my boys, I make sure that none of them are carrying, none of them are, none of them have anything on them. Even some kids that I know that just dress straight gangster, that are still suburban, right? But just they're different colors and stuff like that, their nationalities, they walk out of my house, and sometimes we get hassled by the cops just because of, it doesn't seem like they should be where they are, you know what I mean?
I'm a little more cautious with them, simply because, you can start, where there's smoke, there's fire. If someone looks like someone that might be prone to carrying a weapon or being violent, whatever their mode of dress or behavior is, I'm a little more careful with somebody like that than I would be with someone who didn't draw attention to themselves in that fashion.
People need to realize that it's just because I dress like I'm a thug doesn't mean, I walk down the street with a gun all the time.
Actually, sometimes it kind of scares me, because there was this one guy that I used to know, and he would talk as if he was like, oh, I'm gonna cut you up, and saying all these things with violent things like that, and I was just like, is he being serious, or is he just trying to be a suburban gangster?
It's a style because of the fact that you see it in everyday life. You see it on, music videos, you see that gangster that walks around with the big gold chain, and he's got all the girls,
I've seen some videos on TV where they're basically glorifying being violent towards other people, the police shooting at each other, getting shot, and all that kind of stuff.
13843, no one on the suspect, frequency 2, clear.
You got that Flavor Flav show where, there's Flavor walking around and he's got all the girls and all the money, right? Come on now, you know what I mean? That's portrayed that, but you could walk around and you could look at the emo bands that probably do the exact same thing as him, you know what I mean? The fact of the matter is it's not about the gold, the chains, the cars, and the girls. If you're a wigger and you're trying to act like one, and you're trying to act like a thug, don't do it. You're not a local thug. You're not going to go to the local convenience store and you're not going to shoot it up. So don't have that reputation put onto you.
It's not glorious. All it means is you're going to live potentially a shorter life than you want, and you may end up having to come to see me and getting into trouble with the law over it. It's not really worth it.
Yeah, I can get out of it anytime I want. Anytime I want.